The Steelers have a golden opportunity in this year's NFL draft. There are so many stud players available at pick number 21. Could they get Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State? Will Ashton Jeanty, a Heisman hopeful, possibly fall to them? Or Luther Burden, wide receiver from Missouri? There are infinite possibilities of what could occur in the 2025 NFL draft in just a few short months. To give you an idea of something that could happen, we're going to start doing mock drafts during this offseason here on Steelers Digest, starting with mock draft number 1. And why I say number 1 is because I want to make sure that you guys see every number for every mock draft that we do here on Steelers Digest, because at the end of the offseason, I want to know how many I did. And right now we're on number 1 because we haven't done one yet. We're kicking off this offseason with the first ever Steelers Digest mock draft. And before we get into it, I want you guys to know, if you want the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news, rumors, updates, or analysis, subscribe to Steelers Digest now, and we will keep you covered all throughout the offseason. Steelers Nation, this is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited to get to do some mock drafts with you guys. Drop some comments on this video about how we do during this mock draft and let me know what you would change. Who do you want? Who don't you want? What positions do we need? I've done a lot of research, extensive research in this draft class, and I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do with these picks, but it really depends on if other teams are going to steal my picks from me, because that keeps happening. So it's really going to come down to what other teams do and if they can spoil the Steelers. So without further ado, let's jump right into the mock draft. We're going to select the Steelers, 7 rounds, and I'm going to do fast speed because normal speed took too long last time. I really care what other teams take, but at the same time, I don't want to focus on other teams. I want to focus on the Steelers. And for sake of complexity purposes, I will not be accepting any trade offers because that will change the landscape of the draft, where we pick and what players will be available. So here we are sitting at number 21, and somehow, some way, Mason Graham is still available from Michigan. But my favorite pick in the first round for the Steelers, his wide receiver, Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka. So without hesitation, I'm drafting Emeka Egbuka. Even though I wanted Morrison, a corner from Notre Dame, I'm taking Egbuka because I know what he could bring to the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. I think he's a perfect fit. Him and George Pickens, woo! And now Isaiah Bond goes right before our second pick, which makes the pick of Egbuka look that much better because we didn't get a wide receiver in the second round. So now we look at other positions of need. And there's a lot of people that want Jackson Dart here. There's a lot of people that say the Steelers could draft Jackson Dart in the second round. I don't disagree with that. You know, Jalen Milroe's gone. Quinn Ewers, I don't really want. Now, I'm also interested in Will Howard, if that's an option, or maybe Kyle McCord, so I don't think I need to rush to get a quarterback right now. There's a lot of good running backs, including Travion Henderson, Caleb Johnson. I think he might have stayed at Iowa, if I remember correctly, but I don't know for sure. Cam Scatterboot, probably my favorite running back in this draft class, and there's a lot of other really good ones, like Ollie Gordon, Raheem Sanders, Kyle Monongai, Dylan Sampson. Like, there's a lot of good running backs. Elik Ayumanor, a really good wide receiver I'd like. No really tight ends I'd be interested in drafting this early. I think we're going to go with a offensive guard. We're going to go with maybe Tate Rutledge if there's no defensive players that I'm really into here. Not that the Steelers need a guard, but at some point they're going to need a guard, so we might as well draft one in the second round and make sure that we're continue to replenish this offensive line. I'm really happy with the guard play this year, Sumalu and Mason McCormick, but Sumalu, he's a free agent guy. Can't expect that many more years from him. Look what happened to James Daniels. So drafting a guard's not a terrible idea. I'm not really in love with any of these other players at this point in time, but I know Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer are not going to fall to me in the next round. So as much as I don't want to draft back-to-back Buckeyes, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to take JT Tuimoloau as an edge rusher for the Steelers, a really key piece that could be on our defensive line, especially if we cut the defensive line when we traded for Preston Smith last year. I don't really think he provides a whole lot of value to the team. I think if we draft a rookie, that will be better for us. And then without any hesitation, I don't know why I'm taking 3 straight Buckeyes, but here I am. Travion Henderson still available here. We're going to take Travion Henderson. So 3 straight Buckeyes. I promise you I'm a Penn State fan. I promise you. I don't know why I took 3 straight Buckeyes, but if those players are available, heck, they're the best players. So of course I'm going to take them. I apologize, but that's just how it fell. Here we go to the 4th round. quarterback. We still got some good quarterback. Kyle McCord probably won't be available the next round. So now might be the time I take one, just because we did get a running back. We did get a wide receiver. I like Ricky White. You look at offensive linemen again, not a super need for us, maybe, but I'm expecting Fatanu to be a real big player for us next year. Broderick Jones still getting a fair chance. Malachi Moore, safety, Alabama, not a terrible pick, I guess. So I'm between Malachi Moore and Kyle McCord here. That's where I'm stuck. And I don't think there's going to be another look at these quarterbacks. What do we get? Riley Leonard? So I'm going to take Kyle McCord here in the 4th round. Former Ohio State Buckeye. Oh my gosh, I'm looking like a Buckeye homer. I'm not a Buckeye homer, guys, I promise. But I did take 4 essentially straight Buckeyes. I didn't mean to do that, but if the Steelers can get all those guys, I'm perfectly cool with it. Another running back. I do think we maybe draft 2 running backs because we are losing both Najee Harris and Jalen Warren after last year, so it is an important position. But if there's a good offensive lineman that I can get, of course I would do it. But I'm not like Jack Nelson. I'm not really seeing anybody stand out to me. D tackle, I mean, we're pretty okay. I mean, there's a lot of positions in need. A position in need for us is corner, but I didn't see one of value come to us at our pick at any of these rounds. So we're probably going to have to look to free agency. I know Dante Jackson wants to stay. I'm not sure I want that, but no really good safeties available. I mean, this is a pretty offensive draft at this point. Maybe we do take another running back just for sake of, having 2 running backs because we're losing both of our running backs this offseason. So I guess I'll take Kyle Monangai. I'm not sure that he's actually going to be in the draft. I haven't remembered I can't recall if he actually opted to go to the draft or if he's staying at Rutgers, but we'll take him in the 5th round, and we don't have a 6th round pick according to this mock draft. So we'll skip it. Again, mock drafts are weird because you never know how accurate they'll actually be. You can't really make it 100% accurate, as you see all the running backs still available, Trevor Etienne. But it's still fun to kind of go through and see how things might fall, how they might play out. There's no guarantee that that's how it's going to go. As we look at Craig Woodson, I think that's probably our pick here, a safety out of California in the 7th round. We have another 7th round pick as well. So that's where we go ahead and we get I wanted a corner so bad, guys, but there weren't any corners that I really liked. These rankings aren't really accurate either. It kind of sucks. But we're going to go with Riley Mills. He's a guy I really like. I've done some research on a couple of these late round guys. Riley Mills is actually a stud. It won't show you here, but if you look up Riley Mills from Notre Dame, he's actually really good. So we're going to take him, and then we still have another one. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize we had this many picks in the last round. I'm not sure, guys. I'm not sure. I mean, it's so can get so inaccurate at sometimes that it's like, is this really legit? But we're doing the best we can, just using these mock drafts. I've tried so many different places for mock drafts, and none of them have really, I like this guy's name, Deuce Chestnut. I'm going to go with Deuce Chestnut. Not that that's who we'll actually pick, but that's what we end up with, guys, if we do a mock draft. This is number 1. We're going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing research so I understand, different players in this draft class, different players that we could possibly go after. Right now, it's just a matter of trying to fill positions of need, and I know wide receiver is a priority for us. That's why I got Egbuka. I would like to get Egbuka in the 1st round. If we can't get Emeka Egbuka or Luther Burden or Ashton Jeanty, I'm fine with drafting a corner there and then going into the 2nd round needing a wide receiver. As long as Isaiah Bond is still available at our pick. If he's not, then we get a little bit desperate. And we might have to get a Yomanor or somebody else in that round that is available. And then obviously we'd like to draft a quarterback, but I didn't want to reach on Jackson Dart. I don't think it's that important. If we get, Justin Fields, then let's just get Kyle McCord. I mean, I'm not saying Kyle McCord is a franchise quarterback. He could be. He's a great pocket passer, completely different style than Justin Fields, but you never know. Maybe the Steelers take a big swing. There you go. I don't want to feel like a Buckeyes homer. Guys, I'm not a Buckeyes homer. Travion Henderson, our starting running back next year, would look pretty good. Tuimoloau opposite of TJ Watt, mixed in there with Alex Highsmith. and her big, that sounds pretty good. And then Emeka Egbuka, opposite of George Pickens, with Kyle McCord as our backup quarterback, maybe of the future, and Kyle Monangai from Rutgers, maybe being the number 2 running back to Trevion Henderson. Could you imagine that? And then Woodson, because we lost Demonte KZ, maybe we get him as a depth piece at safety from California. Briley Mills, defensive tackle. Cam Hayward's getting up there in age. I think Mills could be a stud. And then Deuce Chestnut, a corner. Why not, right? 7th round, draft a corner. I like that draft, guys. I don't know what you guys are thinking. If you don't like it, put it in the comments. If you think I'm a Buckeye homer, put it in the comments. I promise you I'm a Penn State fan. We got a lot of guys leaving this offseason, so we got a lot of holes to fill. This is the mock draft that came up. This is the only one that I found that didn't have something stupid happen. The one I did before this that I had to literally delete had, I think it was Jalen Milroe going 3rd overall. And I was like, huh? I don't really trust that. I don't necessarily trust these rankings either. I wasn't really going off the rankings per se, but I kind of was just seeing who was available at that pick based on the rankings and then going by position of need. So thank you guys for watching this episode of Steelers Digest. We'll have a lot more off-season content for you guys, including more mock drafts here on the channel. But thank you guys for sitting through this mock draft. The first one that we've done, I'm going to do plenty more. Just got to put them out there. We got to see the different possibilities. There's an infinite amount of ways that this draft could go down. This is just one of those ways that it could maybe go down. So have my Lucky Steelers pillow with me to say Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock. And when number 21 comes up in the draft, you best believe I'm going to be cheering either way. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, please. And thank you. And we'll see you on the next edition of Steelers Digest.